Alright guys, so we are going to redo the clan battle setup. So you guys are probably going to be seeing this like maybe a day or two prior to clan battle is over. So we still got 5 more days, so a lot of people are still trying to figure out what is like the best build possible to go into. So just for a full transparency, this is what we are looking at as far as my clan scored. I did roughly about, I want to say 190k roughly to like 180-ish around there. That's kind of like the overall score that I got. For the individual, the highest that I was able to attempt is say 133k, roughly about 130 or somewhere around there as well. So the whole setup is actually, I want to say it's not complex, but they make sure you have specific unit where the perfectibility entity can actually just excel in this specific content. I feel like the first unit that you need to have in order to make the perfectibility entity good, you gotta have narrative. Narrative being able to apply and jamming status to a cycle frame unit, that is gonna be a must-have, because as far as perfectibility NTD, you are getting up to 111% extra critical attack. Okay, this is the important part, because like having jam status on the enemy essentially allow you to virtually just double your damage. That's kind of how I've been seeing it, and that is just pretty incredible in my honest opinion. And the extra accuracy on Sinanju, that's gonna be great as well. So yeah, it's gonna be fairly important. And with this now, we do have the unit enhancement, so let's take a look at that. Gonna be full 61 on the attack. As far as the main weapon and third weapon, I did one for a split of the power and EX skill. More so onto the EX skill, because charging the EX skill, even with the built-in restore EX skill gauge, is still a little bit slow. So I feel like it is fairly important we have that, because that is going to allow us to have increased accuracy, so or increased critical rate. So that is obviously going to be fairly important. So we want to make sure we always have a high critical rate. So that is kind of what we are working with right there. But other than that, we also do have the Gundam Green Perfectibility as well. This one is only giving us 10 seconds. So in a combination of these two together, being able to rotate within those 60 seconds, I think that is going to work. As far as the other unit, I did actually drop Magna Martel. I find it with the setup that I'm using now is not as reliable anymore, so I did opt into this bring in Xeon. I think it's a pretty good setup. But the other two support, you must have Phoenix, and then you must have EZ8 as well. So these are kind of like the condition in a way. So let's kind of hop in. I'm probably going to be doing a few runs in this, and maybe we will replace a unit and two just to kind of show you guys what I mean. If we do have Magna Martel, it's not going to make the biggest difference. So yeah, let's hop in first. Alright, so let's kind of see. I'm not sure why Phoenix is in the back like that, but alright, so here is going to be the setup. Oh, it should be like this. That's kind of why it was not working out that great. But yeah, you guys can definitely see the damage on Phoenix, or not Phoenix. The perfectibility NTD just starts skyrocketing. Like, look at that. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, one mil damage per second, and it's still climbing. As we're getting those critical attacks. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. All right, but the score is not like anything higher than what I like. I think the build that we're looking at right now, it can get way higher than this, but you just have to do a lot of runs. That's usually how things are, because of how every little piece it gets influenced. So you have to do multiple attempts. You want to make sure you have everything set, because like maybe there are hits that we're not really performing critical attacks or whatnot. So there are options that does happen. If we do take a look at the battle log, like, I mean, gosh, we did a lot of damage, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, the damage doesn't really start popping up until like, right, yeah, look at that 9 mil right there. Bam. Yeah, so this one is a little weak on the EX skill. It is weak, but standard damage, like these are crazy. I do kind of wish that they will show us like if that attack is a critical attack, that would have been great. So we did apply that, and damage is skyrocketing. Yeah, it's crazy. And CPAX is doing pretty well as well, given the fact that I did actually pump in some unit enhancements, so that's why it's hitting as much as it did. But Xeon is still casually giving us a 15 mil, and the green perfectibility just a 7 mil. The green one is simply is a catalyst to fill in those jamming status of application, so we do have that. But I do want to run it one more time because like this build can get way higher, but it's just a matter of like, can we actually hit those numbers? So let's try that again. Alright, so same setup. Just want to see if we are clocking in roughly about the same number. And after this, I think I can replace Xeon for the time being, and then we can try Magna Mortal. And the reason why I feel like running both C-Packs and then the green one is a good option, because with the jamming status applied on Sinanju like frequently, you guys can definitely tell that my C-Packs is not taking as much damage as it normally would have been. But in this one we did take a lot of damage, and our number is just so terrible in this run. But yeah, the jamming status is important to just make sure that Sinanju does not hit us like a truck. So that is also a consideration as well. But this one is just kind of terrible. I'm gonna see what's going on. I feel like we just didn't hit any critical attacks. I think that's simply what went wrong. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing the numbers being a little bit retracted in a way. It's not what I wanted. So yeah, gonna replace Xeon real quick and then we'll jump back in. So for Magna Mortal, we do have to put it in the center line right there. So that should be good. And let's do that, and let's just kind of see. With this setup, it's really hard for Magna Mortal to actually fall below 50% health. So that's why I'm not running it anymore. It's the thing, because as far as C-Packs, it virtually tanks everything. So if Magna Mortal does not fall below 50%, there's not much we can do. It's much more like a liability than anything at this point in time. So that's unfortunate. Like, we do have to go through like many attempts before we can get Magna Mortal to actually fall below that. So I feel like I was like, maybe that's not really worth the time and effort into that. So I was like, nah, let's just replace that with Xeon, and I think it was actually a little bit better. But there you guys go. It's not the best score that I am presenting at the moment. Obviously, it's not that great. Like, what are we doing? Like, look at that, only 5 million. Like, we trade off a 5 million, a 15 million for this in hopes that we can actually score some banger with this. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, right? But I guess I can do one more. I can change up the module, maybe 1 HP for Magna Mortal, so we can make it tankier, and hopefully that works. I'm not really sure if that might work or not, but we can definitely give it a try. Alright, jumping straight in. So Magna Mortal just need to fall below that 50%, and we should be fine. Yeah, we couldn't. We cannot even do that, because look at how tanky whatchamacallit C-Packs is right now because of all those jamming. Like, yeah, we are virtually just taking 0 damage. I think that's essentially what's going on. Pretty poor damage overall in my honest opinion, but dude, what is perfectibility? I'm like, dude, what are we looking at? I'm like, those numbers just keep creeping up. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, I mean, that's what you can expect from an extra debuff ring from, a Magna Mortal. So it's overall good scoring, but man, we just can't hit below 50% on this unit. Like, look at that. Even worse now, because I traded in for a HP module. But there you guys have it. Unfortunately, I was not able to show you guys like kind of like the peak digit that we're looking at, but I think this is overall the best scoring that I'm going to be getting. So top 4 at the time being. Let me see what we are looking at as far as the individual. So there's one hacker up top, so obviously, and the 2 highest score right now is over 400k, which I'm not going to be getting anytime soon. So I am just gonna be okay where I'm at. I don't really care, honestly, like, being up here is pretty good enough in my opinion. So I can definitely stop right there. Being in the top 10 don't really matter at all because you're not getting anything too special. So it does not concern me at all. But there you guys have it. So this is kind of like the updated version of the run that I did originally. I didn't know, like I knew getting the jamming status would be great, but I was not expecting that big of a jump. But there you guys have it. So with that being said, that's going to be it for me, and I will be catching you guys on the next one.